Hey everybody, welcome back to Bobo for Gaming, and I'm glad you're tuning in for part 2 of my What Can We Expect from Galaxy of Heroes for 2022 video. So let's see what we're going to look at in different game modes and new things coming to the game. So we all know that there's going to be a new Conquest cycle starting from February for Conquest 13 through to 15. Now, what can we expect for the next character to be? There's a chance that it'll be a character to go with Starkiller. His team is more powerful in Grand Arena, a little lackluster or maybe lacking options. So maybe we'll get a new option for Starkiller. So another unaligned Force user, maybe a Jedi, or maybe another Sith. I think maybe it would be another unaligned Force user, whether that's light side or dark side. Though considering we had both Cat and Maul as unaligned Force users, that might be a little bit boring. So maybe we'll actually see a new ship. Maybe the punishing one, because Dengar obviously should have his ship in the game. And we all know that Executor is such a great thing for Fleet Arena that we'd love to see another fleet ship to bolster that. Another option could be the Sith Supremacy Starfighter, as we're expecting the Ravager Darth Nihilus capital ship to be introduced into the game. Then there's the option that maybe we'll get some characters, maybe the Ravager coming to the game, if it actually gets confirmed and the leak was true, that we're going into a KOTOR era. So maybe we'll get Satele Shan, Darth Malgus, or Mitra Surik as a Conquest character. Any of these could be really good tunes, or just signaling the next GL. Mitra Surik could very well be a light side unaligned Force user instead of a Jedi. Malgus would obviously be a Sith. Satele Shan would obviously be a Jedi. But any of these options could be things coming to the game which could be quite interesting. Now that CG have finished the first cycle of new Omicrons for existing characters, we can expect a second cycle for character Omicrons. And there's some characters I would like to see, or I think could deserve Omicrons for the next batch. The first being Mace Windu. Everyone thinks that Mace Windu has been criminally underrepresented in SWGOH, so him getting a Omicron to bolster him would be quite nice, and I think a welcome addition, especially depending on what it could be. If it's a Grand Arena Omicron, that could be interesting to help maybe the Qui-Gon team, or to be used under maybe Jedi Master Kenobi, for example, something like that. Another character that's criminally underrepresented is Princess Leia. I know we had an Omicron on Rebel Officer Leia Organa, which was very lackluster, but a lot of people like Princess Leia as a character, and she was very good when the AAT raid first came out, and it would be nice to see her get an Omicron, maybe something where she also gets the Rebel Fighter tag, so she could slot into that Mon Mothma team, or maybe something which would bolster the CLS team and freeing up a Backpack Chewie or freeing up C-3PO. That would be quite a welcome addition. The Maul team, or the Mandalorian team, is a little lacking in that it does need Maul currently, and Maul is at a premium because of Darth Vader as Lord Vader, as that team's quite easy to beat if there's no Maul on the team especially. So maybe we could get something where Gar Saxon gets a little buff for Grand Arena or TW to allow you to run maybe a Bo-Katan lead Mandalorian team, or maybe he gets a better leadership which can incorporate the Mandalorians. That would be quite good. Then I was thinking maybe Cody could get something. Cody is, he's fallen off the radar quite a lot. He sometimes drops into bad batch teams for people that don't have a Mega or would just rather use Cody for the mass attack on his second special. But with some Galactic Republic tunes, some spare clones like Sergeant, maybe there's something we could do with Cody, or maybe you could make him into a better leader for clones over Rex if you don't want to use gas with the 501st clones. So that would give people some options for either TW or GA. Another character I would like to see get some love would be Krennic. We have some good Empire tunes now and some very good splits, especially since Mara's been added to the game. But seeing Krennic as a leader, or even Grand Moff Tarkin, one or the other, would be a nice welcome addition and help out some of those Empire splits. And they could do some interesting things. Maybe one of them would get a TB Omicron, which is really boring. I don't think any of us want to see those. But, you know, it'd be nice if they got a little boost for TW or GA. The next I'd like to see, and this is to help Rebel splits, as there's a lot of underused Rebels, would be Admiral Akbar. His leadership is quite interesting. Maybe they could do something to bolster that leadership so there's more assists or something along that line. Maybe that makes it a bit too much like Mon Mothma, but I think there's something they could do with Admiral Akbar to make people want to gear him up. A lot of people don't have him relicked, and giving me an incentive to relic Akbar gives me a double benefit because it would be another team for GA or TW, but also gives me a little boost for fleet as well. I would also like to see Savage Press get a little bit of a boost, maybe in his unique, make him a bit tankier, maybe when he takes damage, it gives turn meter to his team, or something like that. Like, Savage has been out of the meta forever, essentially. And it would be nice if we could start using another fringe character like this. I do also think that Night Sisters could do with a little bump, and Talzin, Asajj, Daka and Zombie are all very well positioned right now. They're not great against a lot of teams, but they themselves are reasonable or powerful tunes to a certain degree. So it'd be nice maybe if we had a little bump for Talia, so make people gear Talia, but also give her a nice little reason to use her in the team. Maybe it becomes possible that if a Omicron is good enough that you could run Talia, Spirit and Acolyte and still free up Daka and Zombie. Maybe we could make something like that work, and that would be nice for people's splits, but I think that's a little unlikely, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. And the last Omicron I'd like to see, or think we could see, is, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, the Tusken leader. If anyone's been watching Bobo, the Book of Bobo, there is quite a lot of stuff around Tuskens in that. So it wouldn't be surprising to see 2 more Tuskens come to the game. I'm not going to say which ones, basically because I don't want to spoil anything. But then that would give us a whole Tusken faction. So it wouldn't be surprising to see a Tusken Omicron somewhere in the game. The next thing I think that CG will add to the game, and I think that no one wants to see it really, is 7-dot mods. There's no way that CG added the assets into the game without the idea that they're going to have 7-dot mods. We've also seen 7-dot mods from the test server, images of certain characters, so these are going to come at some point. Whether it's this year or not, I'm not sure, but I would not be surprised if they come this year. How they're going to influence the game? Well, it sort of guarantees that if they work the same as the 6E to A mods, it's certainly going to guarantee that you're going to hit all of your speed slices on a mod. Whether they're going to be better than 3 or not remains to be seen. But 7 dot mods will certainly increase everyone's 25 speed or 20 speed plus mod numbers dramatically. So these could be really bad for the game. I don't know. This is a tough sell. I don't think 6 dot mods were as bad for the game as everyone thought they might be. So this might actually be okay, depending on how high the secondaries and what changes they make to the primaries. Like, maybe we're going to see 35 speed arrows, who knows. CG have alluded to this when they talked about introducing the Grand Arena Crystal Change and essentially killing Squad Arena, in the Fleet Arena is going to be replaced at some point, at least the crystal income from it, which I think is great. I hate Fleet Arena, I hate Fleet generally. It's the worst part of the game for me. And how they replace this, I'm unsure. Maybe we'll come to that very shortly, but I would expect this Fleet Arena to go in 2022. And I can't wait because I just absolutely hate Fleet. But that does bring me to my next idea. Now, this is something that Marvel Strike Force have recently introduced. It's a tower mode. Essentially, it's a progressively harder mode. So you start on floor 1, you beat a relatively easy team. The next team is harder and harder and harder and harder. And you get better rewards the higher the floor you get to. But if you lose with a team, that one team can't be used again until your next refresh. So theoretically, you could go JMK Arena team through floors 1 to 20, easy. Maybe it loses on floor 21. If it does, you then go into, say, JML or C or Mall Mandos or whatever. And you just progress. It's going to progressively get harder, but progressively give you more rewards. It's plausible that maybe Fleet Arena gets replaced, and you have this tower mode progressive challenge, which once you reach a certain floor, you're going to get X amount of crystals per day, or something like that. Who knows? But this could be something interesting. It's a PvE solo challenge. Maybe it's a bit hard to introduce in SWGOH because the game is so heavily favoured towards how powerful Galactic Legends are. It might be tough to challenge those while not just screwing everyone that doesn't have a selection of GLs. But maybe there's something that can be done here which would be quite interesting. And the last thing I could see them adding to the game for 2022, which is something that I don't think anybody wants to see, but I think realistically we have to expect it, is Relic 10. When this is going to come, I wouldn't expect it until the last quarter of 2022. How they're going to introduce it, I don't know. Maybe in the tower mode we just talked about, maybe as a reward from Conquest, as Conquest develops further. Maybe they introduce another game mode that I haven't even considered. But I would expect Relic 10 to come at some point this year. I hate to say it because Relic 9 hasn't been fun for everyone. Relic 8 is still something that people are struggling to catch up on. But I think that Relic 10 is something that's going to happen this year. Well, thanks for watching the video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this and part 1 of my what to expect from 2022. The next videos I'm looking at making is a little roster review of my own account with what I'm looking at doing in, say, the first half of 2022 based on the information we have in the game and what I'm expecting to come and how I'm looking to develop my roster. So maybe that's something people will find interesting, and then I'll do a review of that in the middle of the year to see how far I came. Thanks very much. Please like, comment, subscribe, and see you again soon.